In this tutorial, we're going to be exploring how to clean messy datasets. Now, if you're lucky, the data you're working with will have already been cleaned. But today, we're going to be sharing some quick, simple steps that you can take to tidy up your dataset if this isn't the case. To start with, it's good to have a general idea of some of the common issues to look out for in your dataset. Now, every dataset is different, but there are some common issues to keep an eye out for. For example, there could be duplicates in your dataset, which can cause issues when it comes to the analysis stage. Or there could be visual problems like messy formatting or inconsistent cases, and that can make it hard for your audience to read your data when it's presented. There could be things like spaces, which can cause errors if you're making pivot tables. Or there could be formatting issues. For example, things like the numbers are formatted as text, or there's inconsistent date formatting. And all of this means that when you use formulas, it can be really difficult because they don't recognize your figures as the right kind of numbers. But what does this look like in practice? So here we have an example dataset. And the dataset we have here shows you a breakdown of sales by details such as country, product, and segment. A quick note that you'll be able to find a file with this Excel datasheet below the video, and you can download it and follow along if you'd like to. One other thing before we start cleaning up this data is that if you are working on a different version of Excel from the one I am, there's a chance that there could be certain functions and commands that are in different places for you. If this is the case, follow along for as much as you can, and then if you can't find the command or function that I'm using, simply type what you're looking for into Google along with the version of Excel that you're using, and you should be able to find where this function or command sits. Okay, so let's dive in. If we're looking at this data set, probably the first thing we want to do is just make these columns slightly wider so that we can see all the information. So if you just click the triangle in the top and then hover over the gap between the two columns and drag it, you'll see that's actually made all the columns a little bit wider. And I might do that a bit more so that manufacturing price fits in. Great. Okay. So now you can see already that there are quite a few errors that you can pick up already. There are these blank rows, there are this weird formatting of tables. Some of the cells are highlighted, some of them are in bold, and you can also see here there's some odd spacing and some of the words are in capitalization. And if we have a look around here, you can also see that numbers like the date and the sales aren't formatted correctly into date format and currency format. So there's lots for us to get stuck into. The first problem I probably want to try and solve are these blank rows here. So what you're going to want to do is highlight all of the columns by clicking into the column A and then just dragging along until you've selected all of your columns. And then there's a shortcut that you can use. So we are looking for a command called go to special. And if you press Ctrl G, that should bring up a box here, go to, and then click special. And what you're looking for is blanks. And this will automatically select all of those blank rows in your dataset. So click OK. And then what we should be able to do is go up here to delete, click the drop down arrow, and delete the sheet rows. If we do that, there we go, you can see they've automatically disappeared. If for some reason the shortcut isn't working for you, you can also find that up here under Find and Select, Go to Special, and that's another way of doing that. The next thing I probably want to sort out is this formatting. For example, some of the cells here have a table-like format, some of them have this highlighting, and some of them are in bold. So a quick way to do that is click into any of your cells and then click Ctrl A. And that will automatically select all of your data for you. Now what you want to do is go to the Home tab and then to the editing group and find Clear. So for me, it's here. And all I want to do is press Clear Formats. And that will automatically make all of the data into the same format. Great. Okay, So now probably the next thing to tackle is, do we have any duplicates? So again, if you Control A to select all of your data, or you can press this arrow up here, and then we are simply looking for the duplicates button, which we can find under Data, and then here, Remove Duplicates. If you click that, now you can see here that there's all these different columns, and essentially we want to make sure that we're only removing exact duplicates. So that's duplicates that have the same values in every single column. So that's correct because all of the columns here are selected. So you just press OK. And you can see we've got 3 duplicates here, so they're going to be removed, which is great. Next, we want to try and get rid of this spacing and odd capitalization in the country column. So highlight the country column, right click, and insert a column next to it. And we're going to call this country as well. And then there's something quite simple that you can do. Type equals and then trim in capitals, open bracket, and click into the Canada column, close bracket, and press enter. And you can see that the space has disappeared because what the trim function does is it gets rid of any odd or unwanted spacing. And then all you need to do is double click here and it automatically fills the rest of the column with the same formatting. Next, we want to try and get rid of this capitalization, and that should also be pretty straightforward. So again, click into this cell, come up here and type in open brackets, proper, and then close brackets. And it won't make any difference to Canada, but if we double click again, there you go. You can see that it has formatted all of the rest of the column, because what the proper function does is make sure that any words are formatted with capital letters at the front and lowercase for the rest. You can do other things with this. If you want to do all uppercase, just type upper and that will bring it back, or you can do lower and that will make it lowercase. But in this case, we want it to be proper. Now you might have noticed that USA is not how we want it, and we will be coming back to fix that in a second. But what we want to do first is, obviously now we have 2 different country columns, and so we'd want to get rid of one. But if we get rid of the original one, so right click, delete, you can see we get all these reference errors, and that's because this new column is basically referencing the values that was in the original country column. So what we want to do instead is highlight this column and copy it, so Control C, and then we want to do paste values, and essentially this will paste all the content that you have but without any of the formatting, so it's no longer referencing this original country column. So if you click in here and try deleting it again, there you go, no problems at all. So back to this pesky problem of USA, there's a very quick way to sort this. If we highlight the column, go to Find and Select and Replace. There's also a shortcut if you want to press Command F, this should bring it up for you as well. And you can see here Excel has already predicted what I want to do. So we want to find any examples of USA in lowercase and replace them with uppercase. So if we press next, actually if we press replace all, there you go, 6 replacements, and you can see that has all been updated. The last thing we want to fix in this data set is the number formatting. So if we come over here, you can see that the date isn't really formatted how we'd want it. So the easy way to fix this is come up here to General, click Short Date, and that will automatically format the column for you. Similarly, you've got sales price, manufacturing price, all of these columns should really be in a currency format. So if you highlight them, come here to currency, and that automatically formats that for you. And there's something else we can do as well. If you don't want to see all of the
decimal places. Just click here and that will remove it for you. Nice and simple. So hopefully those have been some useful tips on how to clean your dataset. Sometimes you may not be in the situation where you need to, but if that situation does arise, I really hope that you found this video helpful.